Uh-oh.
Yeah, I've been dropped now twice, and also my sound, instead of moving all around, is pinged at max. So that's great. Thanks, Skype.
I don't know that I can control this recording level, so my voice is just going to get louder over the course of the time as I pull the volume up and down.
Is it adjusting in
Audacity?
Oh my god.
Mine did that for a while, and I don't remember how I fixed it right offhand.
I wonder if I could fix it by closing both Skype and Audacity and opening Audacity first.
Yeah, let's try it. Why not? We got.
But that necessitates a start over.
Okay, let's start over. It's fine.
That's fine.
We Were Gamers, episode 117, where Microsoft kills the pod.
They're trying.
Technical difficulties galore.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, fam.
Yeah, no big deal. It wouldn't be We Were Gamers if, every 10 episodes or so, someone else changed something that caused us to lose half an hour.
Yeah, wow. Skype is a really bad product, you guys. I would recommend no one ever use it in any circumstance.
Turns out.
Which is a shame, because it used to be so good. Like, one update ago.
It was stable anyway.
Yeah,
workable.
at least it was the same every time.
Sure. And the forced update, wonderful. Thank you for that, Mike Rowe Soft. All right, let's move on. We're back. There's JJ.
Hello.
There's Michael.
Hey, guys.
I'm Andrew. We're on a podcast about video games sometimes. Other times we play less video games than we hope to in a week, and we have other stuff to talk about. Things we see in the news, other stuff we did, or news that breaks immediately after we release this cool special episode. If you guys didn't catch it, we released our second in a sub-series on this pod, the subspace transmissions of Star Trek, which are kind of fun.
Yeah, we had a good time recording that one.
There's more of those coming in the near future, I'm sure. Well, at least monthly, probably. And we put out this whole thing on the news and the Jean-Luc Picard news, which I'm assuming Michael is also excited about.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You were there in spirit with us. We knew. And of course, we mentioned the movies were coming, but we didn't know much about them. We found out minutes after that podcast went up, JJ. Both Chris's have decided not to work with Paramount or whoever on this.
It sounds like both Chris's are in contract disputes over both Chris Hemsworth, who you may remember was briefly in the last movie, and Chris Pine, who is featured heavily in all those movies.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that. I sort of feel like you don't got a lot of choices with Chris Pine. Maybe you don't need to have Chris Hemsworth in it also. But
I believe one article I mentioned was that the entire story hinged on Chris Pine meeting Chris Hemsworth in some sort of time warp. So that was the original story. Not going to say that I believe that it would have been good or anything. But
kind of hard to do without both characters.
Kind of like seems like you've built this whole Kelvin timeline where Kirk's dad died, and in the fourth movie we're gonna not only have wiped out the previous Prime universe with our 3 movies, but now we're gonna wipe out the Kelvin universe. I don't know. That's weird.
My money's on planetary slingshot.
Well, this is the only way to time travel in Star Trek, so.
Go back to Star Trek 4 Save the Whales, but this time in the Kelvin timeline.
It'd be pretty legit if they were like trying to use the footage from the other one and you've got like Chris Pine and them in the background shadowing Kirk.
Oh my gosh, they do like a Trouble with Tribbles, but the new one. That'd be really good.
I would be for that. If it was only if it was like, oh, we found out how Chekhov like got away,
Sure, yeah.
The Star Trek Back to the Future 4.
Yeah, basically. Okay. I could be brought on board with this. Hopefully they work through their contract thing, because I'd hate to see a series go just because of money. But my guess is that those Star Trek movies don't make the Thor money that Chris Hemsworth is used to, probably.
Which, from what I read, is part of the problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure that's exactly the reason there's a dispute.
Yep. The last movie did not do nearly as well as Paramount hoped, and so now they're trying to stretch those dollars.
Gotta do what you gotta do if you want to make your movie. You know, I wouldn't be sad if the only one that comes is a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek.
That idea is interesting and also terrifying.
That describes a lot of Tarantino's work.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with Christoph Waltz and Sam Jackson on the bridge of the Enterprise.
No, that's not the part that I'm terrified of. It's the rest of the script.
It'll be the most cursing you've ever seen in the Star Trek universe.
Absolutely it would, yeah.
Yeah. I'd make Sam Jackson a Klingon, though.
Doesn't mean he's not going to be on the bridge of the Enterprise.
True.
He could be Worf.
You would have Christoph Waltz as some really crazy, insane alien that you haven't heard of before.
Sure.
Who's just chill all the time.
Sam Jackson as Worf, you guys.
What would Michael Dorn say?
Probably go get him. I don't know. I don't know. Be interesting to see where that one falls if it ever gets made. But well, there you go. Okay. Well, moving on from the Star Trek subspace transmissions, we'll talk more about that in the future, I'm sure. How was everyone's weekend? We always check in on a Monday, so it's great to hear what everybody got up to.
We had some fun times this weekend. We went to the fair.
Is the fair for you about rides or about food? Because those are the only two things or reasons you would go to the fair.
It is definitely about the food.
Okay, so is this the food and beverage minute?
Yeah, we can do that.
Sweet.
We didn't hit anything super adventurous food-wise this year. Having gone several years in a row, there are a couple of things that we're always craving, and so this year we just sort of indulged some of the old favorites.
What are the old favorites, though?
For the wife, it is always the half pineapple that is full of shrimp and rice.
Yum.
And then for me,
classic.
Yeah, I hit up one of the barbecue stalls and got some ribs.
Yeah, but what fried thing though?
We started off the day with a funnel cake.
Like before lunch?
Like for breakfast.
Nice.
And then we also, later in the day, we decided to try some mac and cheese egg rolls.
Ooh.
They were good, amazing. But they needed something. They were a little one note. Maybe a second kind of cheese other than just the cheddar or...
Bacon?
Bacon would have put them over the top.
Always bacon. It's so easy. It's the fair. It should always be bacon. Hey, did they do... I was just reading about the Wisconsin State Fair, which is also happening. And they have some sort of famous cream puff thing as their signature item. Does the Orange County Fair have a signature item that everybody's supposed to try?
Ooh, I don't know if there's one thing that is like the thing that people go to eat. The giant turkey legs are always a draw.
That's a staple of every fair, I think.
Yeah.
Renaissance fairs especially.
Oh, yeah, yes. I think that also has a little bit of resonance here with Disney, because Disney is also known for the giant turkey legs. But no, I think the OC Fair is one of those fairs where the draw is always what's new every year.
Got it.
I definitely recall the years that we've gone to the San Diego County Fair, looking for the weird new thing. Because, they always have the fried Oreo, or they always have the, cheeseburger with donuts as buns or whatever.
The Luther.
Yeah.
It
has different names.
Yes. That is one of the names.
I would need to know more names. Please, if you know more names for a donut hamburger, email them to podcast@weweregamers.com.
I know one of the things this year, which we were a little too full to try it at that point, but they had lasagna nachos.
This is just like nacho chips in place of the pasta?
I don't know. I got a weird chill when that happened. I don't think that sounds very good.
It was kind of deconstruct. Apparently, they were supposed to have been really good. Like one of the things that people should try this year. But yeah, it was kind of like deconstructed lasagna. I think it was cooked and then fried, probably pasta, and then topped with all of the typical lasagna filling stuff. So if you've ever had fried ravioli, where they cook the pasta and then fry it so the outside is crispy, but it still has some of that nice chew to it.
Yeah. Those aren't my favorite things, typically. Usually the stuff I go for at the fair has to just be straight up weird. Like, you know, if someone who has never had a fried Oreo, like, that's pretty good. You would not think it by hearing those words, but actually it's delicious.
I was disappointed by deep fried Twinkies.
Yeah?
I just thought they would be more, like, maybe I expected them to be more breaded than just dunked in oil and cooked.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, I guess the outside of the Twinkie is kind of bread, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know. It just didn't make it very crispy or anything, so I don't know.
That was like, I'm trying to remember, it might not have been out here. It might have been back home. One year they did at the fair fried Kool-Aid.
Say what?
Huh?
They took Kool-Aid and used it to make essentially fritter batter and then made fritters, which they called fried Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid funnel cake.
Basically.
Nice.
I would try that.
I would try that.
It was supposed to have been delicious.
Okay.
It must have been back at the North Carolina State Fair, because out here I remember they did Kool-Aid chicken wings.
I have a question.
I would also try that.
They were good. I did.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's all good. My question is, you know, there's this whole waffle controversy, or waffle sandwiches. Are they sandwiches, or is a taco a sandwich and all that?
Sure.
Is a funnel cake a waffle?
I would say no. Because to me, yeah, a waffle has to be pressed.
Yeah, I think really you're talking about the form there.
Got it. Okay. If you folded a funnel cake over, would it be a sandwich?
It would certainly be a taco.
Yes, actually, I agree with that statement. I don't know about sandwich, but definitely a taco. Well, I have some food and beverage stories from this week. Have you guys ever, or have you ever been interested in having, let's call them adult popsicles?
Like frozen shooters?
Like popsicles with booze in them, yes?
I have never had one.
Neither have I.
They're pretty good. We made a set of them here. We got a cookbook, or a recipe book with several different weird recipes for them. And I mean, I guess to be clear, since they still have to freeze, you can't get too much booze in there.
Sure.
You know, it's like 80-20. You know, it's like one, you know, maybe 2 shots of vodka spread across the entire 6 popsicle molds or whatever. We made them with the ingredients we happened to look around and find in our house, which happened to be Red Bull and vodka, which was fine. I mean, I like Red Bull, so it was not awful, but I'm not going to go out and say that, like, hey, this is the one you should try. But there were quite a bunch of interesting ones with, like, orange juice and, like, basil and lemonade and a bunch of stuff that I just wondered if you guys had ever done anything like that before. We enjoyed it and are looking to do it again.
How much alcohol per popsicle could you add before it wouldn't freeze?
Not a lot, I suspect. I mean, we're talking like 6 popsicles and 4 ounces of vodka between all 6, right? Because you just sort of like mix it all in one thing and pour it in individually.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine you could add a ton more without causing issues in the freezing time. They were already a little slush-like.
Maybe that was the Red Bull.
It's also possible. A lot of sugar in there.
Yeah. But yeah, basically you have to have enough water to trap whatever else is in there, right? Because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, so like like your orange juices, probably you don't want pulp, but like lemonade and stuff like that probably works pretty good.
I'm also wondering if you could do one of those kind of like smoothie popsicles, like a blueberry flavored.
Oh yeah, there was there's a whole like recipe book of like 14 or 15, pages worth of these things, like a little book. We've made like literally 2, so we don't know. But speaking of adult beverages, we tried something at a bar recently that I want to get your guys' take on. Peanut butter whiskey.
I've had peanut butter beer before.
And were you pro peanut butter beer?
I was pro peanut butter beer.
So this is, I really should remember the name of this company. It's a craft thing. It's some guy who happens to own a restaurant over in Ocean Beach, had been making this whiskey infusion at his place, like just on the side, with peanut butter and Jameson. And it turns out that at some point he was actually approached by Jameson to do a thing
with a cease and desist order
with them. No, they were like, "Hey, we want to partner with you. We've seen this. Our reps have tried it and like raved about it to us. Let's like work together." And he was like, "If the corporate company is coming after me for this, what I should do is make my own thing and sell it, because obviously it's a big market, right?"
Yeah.
Sure.
So he did. I want to say it's like Screwball or something, but like screw with a K, Skrew.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyway, the first, we just had like a shot of it because like, what would you even put this in? I can't even think of a thing you would want to do that with. But you take a smell and you just get hit. It's like a jar of peanut butter, and then after you drink it, the back end of it tastes like maybe sweet or caramel corn or something.
But it doesn't taste like whiskey at all the way through, huh?
It still has like the alcohol sort of flavor of whiskey a little bit, more towards the back, but the front is just all peanut butter. It's really different. I've tasted a bunch of whiskey. I've had scotch and stuff like that. I had nothing like this ever before. Really, really different.
I'd have to try it before forming an opinion.
Yeah, it's my first thought is that I would reduce it for desserts.
So it is a little bit lower proof than like your average 80 proof whiskey. I think it's like a 70 or something.
Okay.
But yeah, I wonder, like, would it be good for cooking? I have no idea because, you get all that weird peanut butter flavor and stuff. It's probably super sweet though, so I don't know if that causes issues.
I think your cost per ounce would prevent you from using it for cooking before you cried every time you put it in a pan.
Also that.
Yeah, a little pricey.
Yeah. It was so unique and weird that I had to share. And
that's pretty cool.
The owner of the bar we were at was kind enough to share the story about the guy and everything, so we wanted to shout that out. It was pretty fun. I've certainly never ever tasted anything like it before. That's what I can say. So if you get a chance, I think it's Screwball.
I tried out the new Fundamental Observation from Bottle Logic this weekend.
Oh yeah, you went to the little festival that they put on. How was that?
They had a mini party, like the anniversary party, which was humongous. They had a miniature version of that.
Nice.
And I learned that I'm going to need some help trying to get this like decoder patch. They're doing like an ARG, but they haven't told anybody.
Okay.
I don't know where or when or how or whatever, but there's some sort of code you have to find and send to them, and then you get a thing from them, like an iron-on patch.
Huh. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
I learned that.
Game.
And, well, I was trying really good beer this weekend. And then it was a nice predicate to a wonderful dinner at our some family's house, where I unfortunately, have you guys heard of the show Hot Ones?
Yes. It's a YouTube series, right?
It is it's a YouTube interview style show, I guess.
Oh, is this okay? I think maybe I have heard of this, but I did not know the name.
Oh, okay.
I think,
They sit down with an actor usually or somebody else, and they have a plate of hot wings. I think is usually hot wings. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And do like an interview while trying hot sauces.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard? Now do you remember?
Yeah. I think the one I saw was like hot peppers and gaming journalists, but the same idea.
You need to, JJ, you need to look up the one where they brought on Key and Peele.
That might be the best version of this show.
It's amazing.
Key and Peele sitting there trying to do an interview, riffing on each other while sweating to death with hot sauces.
Okay, I'm writing this down. I'm going to do this later.
I think there are 10. They try to do 10 hot sauces over the course of the meal.
Yeah, it's 7 to 10, something like that.
And the first 4 or 5, they like tap out at sriracha or something.
What?
No. That's nobody. I mean, like that's where the first batch end. That's like the first heat wave.
Okay,
That's the tier.
That's
tier
the tier 1, and then there starts tier 2, and it's like habanero peppers and a whole bunch of other stuff. And the last, I think, 3 get into their own recipes for the show, and the last one's called The Last Dab. Say that again?
Oh, just like the evil stuff at the end.
Oh, yeah. It's insane stuff. And the last one's called The Last Dab. And I think it's made with... Right now, it's made with Carolina Reaper.
Yeah.
Or Reaper X or something like that. So you basically, like, smell it and your tongue is burning.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I tried some of this weekend.
The hot sauce?
The Last Dab hot sauce, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We had a wonderful dinner, and there was tri-tip, and we were trying a whole bunch of different hot sauces, and there were some really good ones made with habaneros and some chipotles and a whole bunch of different ones. It was really good. And then brought out the Last Dab, and of course, you have to try it, and then you try to pour a little bit out, and unfortunately a little bit more than you want comes out. But you can't waste it because of the price per bottle.
Yeah, it's probably like $50 a bottle or something,
really
right?
Expensive stuff. So, you slowly eat through it. JJ, we ate those ghost chilies one time.
Uh-huh, yeah. That ghost chili is not... That particular one is not the hottest thing I've ever eaten, but it's in like the top 5.
Yeah, we did that. And in the top 5, this has now replaced that for sure. I could never have eaten wings with this on it.
Ooh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Ever. And the rest of the meal was just attempting to eat stuff to cool my mouth off, like guacamole and corn and other stuff.
Eventually, your vision came back.
Because, like, did they have like milk or anything for you? Because that's what you need.
Well, so the host was lactose intolerant, so we didn't have any milk.
No,
Oh, no.
You're in literally the worst environment possible.
Really short-sighted on my part. Have you ever gotten like a sweat where it's just kind of coming from everywhere and you feel kind of clammy?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you get like heat exhaustion. That's what it felt like.
Oh God.
Yeah. Interestingly, it didn't upset my stomach that day.
That day?
The next day.
That's a bad sign.
A little bit.
It's a bad qualifier.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, steer clear of the Last Dab. Not necessary. I think I'm having given that experience and my ghost chili experience. I think I'm just gonna say my limit is habaneros and move on.
I don't enjoy the stunt hot stuff that is just so hot and it's done only for stunts. Like, it's not fun to eat. But, like, I do genuinely enjoy a lot of habanero-based hot sauces and stuff. Like, stuff that is just, like, really hot. But, like, most, I don't know about most, but if you don't like hot sauce, you would not like these hot sauces. But I genuinely enjoy them. I think they taste great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a hot sauce thing, right? You have a...
Yeah. My mother-in-law signed me up for a hot sauce of the month thing, and yeah, they mailed them out once a month. I get some random bottle of hot sauce when I have barely had any of the previous month, if we opened it at all. So, my cabinet is slowly filling up with all this stuff, which I will then hopefully endeavor to eat over the course of a year, probably.
My trick
after
was
this.
To just leave one on the table.
Yeah.
That way you eat it at more meals than you would normally, right? Like than you think you would. That was my trick when I was in one of those. But
I've just kind of been forcing myself to be like, oh, we're having eggs, I could put hot sauce on this. Oh, we're having pizza, I could put hot sauce on this. We're having,
exactly. Sure.
Just like remember to get one out all the time, and we've been getting through them.
My thing is that I eat hot sauce quite a bit, and I eat spicy salsa and spicy food and red chili flakes and all sorts of stuff. I genuinely love the flavor of hot things, and like this did have flavor, but there's a certain return point when like you have to close your eyes for a few minutes and bow your head.
Oh yeah,
so you don't embarrass yourself at the table. That's just too much, even if it tastes good.
Far past. Yeah.
I have a good tolerance. I can eat, any hot pepper really. Anyway, I was just surprised. It was hot.
I'm gonna hit you guys with a related question here. Sriracha, I think we all know it and love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you guys fall on refrigerating it?
No need.
I generally don't. It does lose its color if you don't.
According to the man who makes it, not necessary. I watched a documentary about the guy and how he started the business. What's the Tong Ot Sriracha or whatever? I'm sure I'm slaughtering the Vietnamese. Anyway, he says you don't need to refrigerate it, so I don't.
Yeah, if you keep it too long, it'll change color on you. A lot of people say that refrigerating hot sauces, you'll lose the heat of them a little bit over time. I'm not sure about that. The one, I've kind of moved on from Sriracha a little bit in the last few years. That same company also makes a chili paste.
The chili garlic paste. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I just throw that on instead. Anytime I would have wanted Sriracha.
Yeah, I think there is a good amount of that chili garlic paste in the Sriracha anyway. So you're probably most of the way there. But yeah, I do refrigerate some hot sauces, but Sriracha specifically I never do. Like generally the ones that are more tomato-y and look like they have like chunks of fruits or things in them, I'm more apt to refrigerate something like that versus
like
something that's more
like Pepper
vinegary.
Plant?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I go through Pepper Plant so fast when we have it that it doesn't really matter if it was refrigerated or not. Just one of the reasons I don't buy it. Oh, man. Okay, well, that was a food extravaganza.
Yeah.
We should do that more often.
Eating is great.
I'm in.
Eating is great. We didn't even talk about it. Comic-Con, we went out to Ballast Point and had beers, and that was fun, too.
Yep.
I have to get us off this food thing for a minute, though, because there's something I need to tell you guys. Voltron?
Okay.
I may have been watching it pretty much nonstop since I've started watching it. And I mentioned to you guys off air that the series actually shortens in length. The episodes kind of shrink down per season, even though they stay at 25 minutes apiece. And a lot of people have probably been screaming when they hear me say, man, it reminds me a lot of Avatar The Last Airbender. Turns out the executive producer on this was like the director for all of the Avatar The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra stuff. His name's Joaquim de Santos. And so there's a reason it has the same vibe as that. And
okay.
Yeah. The fights in that show, because obviously there's fights all the time, because why are you watching Voltron if you don't want to see cool mech combat and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Get insanely good. Which is I'm wondering if, when they decided to shorten the seasons, they decided to spend a little bit more money per episode on choreography and stuff like that. And beyond the third season or so, it loses its very much problem of the week vibe all the time with like bigger and bigger monsters, you know? And really turns into kind of like a sci-fi series where you're wondering what's going to happen next. And in 25 minutes, boy, does each episode need to be watched, because a lot of stuff starts to happen very fast.
Oh, so the villain doesn't just keep getting away.
I mean, I'm not going to say what happens to some of the villains, but like it's not always the same villain. It's not like Power Rangers style, is what I'm going to say.
Sure, it's not just Rita's Monster of the Week or whatever.
Yeah, that stuff does not last very long into the series. And like
cool.
the story gets crazy. I would put it emotionally, maybe it's a little bit lighter than some of the later episodes of both Avatar series, but heading into the final season, the emotion level is high. It's pretty amazing for such a ridiculous 80s show. I had a problem because I was trying to play Magic and watch it, and then I just would end up watching it and not playing Magic. Yeah,
big life problems.
It felt like because it was Voltron that it was going to be something that I could watch and do something else, and then it turned into something you can't. Well, I couldn't anyway because there's so much to look at on the screen all the time. It's crazy. It's so cool. So cool. Anyway, props to those guys. That's the last time I'll talk about Voltron unless you guys watch it. Or I buy that Lego.
I really want to watch it. I did watch that first season. Well before you. That's all I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure JJ just firsted you.
That's right. I
JJ can
hipstered him.
first it. He can also first me on Magic, which I, again, have not played much of.
Yeah.
But I did earn a blue-white deck, and I have got to say, just for a minute, if we could do 1 minute on Magic for a second, earning those decks feels really good.
And it turns out there are a lot of them. Like, you earned that one, but there's, I think, a 2-color combination for every 2-color combination. So
that's a lot of cards.
There's quite a few different ones that you can earn. And yeah, each one is a 60-card deck. And yeah, 30 of those cards are going to be lands almost or whatever. But you're getting some good stuff in there. You get some of the rare lands are in those decks, which you will want. And the decks themselves obviously aren't like amazing by themselves, but they give you a good starting point for this is the kind of combination stuff you can do.
And I really love how huge the card pool is, so that when I get new cards, I'm not chasing all the cards, right? Like, I'm not playing enough to be like, I need a full set of everything that's legal.
Don't even try. It's impossible
I
without
know.
pouring tons of money in.
I know. And so the feeling of getting those decks where you're like, oh my God, I just got 60 cards. Or, well, I guess it's more like 36 cards, right? Because they give you 24 lands.
Yeah.
Which you already had.
Right.
Still, it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Magic.
Yeah. They have been running some different formats. They sort of like weekly rotate their kind of like available formats. This week they did a singleton format, which I really enjoyed the last time they did it, and kind of wish it would stick around permanently. Singleton is a format with, number one, no banned list, and number two, only one of each copy of any card besides lands in your deck. So, basic lands. Sorry, if you have non-basic lands, fancy ones, you can only have one of those. And when you only get one copy of a card, you can't really do that much.
Yeah, there's not a lot of, I have, 36 cards divided by 4, Michael? 90? 9?
9.
Yeah, 90. Why did that come out of my mouth?
It's okay.
Yeah.
And so, you kind of then
you
really
build
have to dig.
9-card combo when you build a normal deck, right?
Yeah.
If you really want to trigger a deck to do one thing, you need a 9-card combo.
Right. And in this case, you have to have 37 different unique cards, or, plus minus a couple. And the games just end up devolving weirdly because of it. Like, you can't play strict aggro without having a whole wide range of creatures, all of which are not going to necessarily be as tightly tuned as the powerful aggro decks are. And it's just really interesting. You can do all kinds of weird stuff. And like I said, there's no banned list, so you can play cards that are super banned in Standard because they are way overpowered. But here, I mean, like, what's the chance you're going to draw the one other card you need in your 60-card deck to actually do the, like, banned combo, right? Sometimes that does happen, though. Anyway, I really like that format. Just for anyone who plays, I think you should check that out. And I hear coming up in their weekly format stuff, they're going to be doing a pauper format, which is like, the prince and the pauper kind of thing. And pauper format, I believe, bans rares and above. So all you get are commons and uncommons.
Oh, I thought for a minute there we were going to win things for the backs of our phones. I would be opposed to that, but like Mickey Mouse and the Beanstalk sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. Just see, like, hey, what are the good commons and uncommons that exist in this format, which are inherently a lot easier to craft decks around since you're likely to have a lot more of them.
Yeah.
And you don't see them most of the time because people don't play with as many of them, right?
Right.
So anyway, cool stuff going on in that game for people that are still into it.
Within the card game minute we've created here, we didn't really talk about it, but Gen Con just ended. Or, yeah, I think it's over. It has happened. Gen Con 2018. And, we talked a lot about the upcoming game from Valve, the card game from Valve that we were kind of disappointed that's going to have a buy-in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The creator of Magic the Gathering, Richard Garfield, yeah, also is working on a game with Fantasy Flight. Did you hear about this?
No.
It is a paper game called Keyforge, 1v1 competitive card game. Instead of using a trading card game format where you build a deck out of booster packs or living card games where you buy sets of cards and build, entirely new decks out of them, this is called a unique deck game, which means that players will buy a pre-made 36-card deck that is completely unique combination of cards from the game. No other deck in the world will be exactly the same. It cannot be altered or customized in any way because they will have their own unique card backs and names to distinguish the cards in it.
So
what
you could have... wait.
What was exactly my response to?
I mean, that sounds weird, but that description makes it sound like you could have the same deck as someone else in terms of the abilities of the cards in it. They're just going to have different names and artwork.
Maybe, but the thing that got me was he said all of them are going to have different card backs. How can they do that from a printing standpoint? Like, physically, how can you produce those cards?
And especially at the price point that they have set, which is $10 per deck.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, what?
Yeah. So, color me skeptical. But the real kicker for me was Garfield, I guess, was saying that he wanted to recapture the feeling of discovery and rarity that existed in the early days of card games, before cards became commodities and the best deck lists were publicly searchable online. To me, that reads as, game designer wants you to play cards the way he intended.
Yeah, sorry, dude. That's not how it works. Also, I can guarantee within a month of this being out, all the cards will be online because the internet.
Right, but you can't change the decks because reasons. Basically,
They're
it's like, no,
to
I
you.
want people to play my tribes, so here's the tribe decks.
But, like, the tribe decks are also fun. But,
Sure.
I'm just saying that, I mean, Richard Garfield can say whatever he wants, but, like, there's been some published documentaries about like what Magic was like back in the early days or whatever, before it was a real thing owned by Wizards of the Coast and printed on fancy cardboard and whatever. Like, all those Black Lotuses and stuff were a thing, you guys. That didn't necessarily make the game fun because Fireball was 1 red and pay X and kill your opponent. Like, just because you put it in the game doesn't make it good, dude.
Yeah, you could argue that the galactic hive mind of the internet makes games better, right?
I mean, I understand what he's going for there, but like you can't breed that like inherent need for people to tweak stuff out of people just by saying, "Oh, you can't change the deck now, sorry."
Yeah, what's the staying power of a game like that, or the growth potential?
Yeah, why do I buy my one deck, I'm set forever, right? Done.
Yeah, because apparently no deck is ever going to be better than that deck, right? They'll all be balanced against each other, or I would hope they're all balanced against each other.
You would hope so, but what if I just get a deck that has some weaknesses compared to a lot of the decks that other people get?
Or once
There's
all
even
the
less
cards are
incentive.
online and you know, okay, some people have gotten 2 times Fireball in their packs, and all those people win at these tournaments. So at a tournament, I'm going to buy 5 decks, and the one that has Fireball in it is the one I'm going to play.
Yeah, like I don't know how you can inherently balance something like that by saying, "Oh, it's everything is random, so therefore it's balanced." Like that's not true at all. Richard Garfield is, I believe, at heart a math guy, so I'm sure he's done some high-level math to prove all this somehow, but I'm skeptical.
Well,
yeah, I would need to see it to...
The starter set will be available in September for $40, and you can get 2 preset decks, 2 random decks, and a bunch of tokens for effects.
So what you're saying is, come September, watch an unboxing video.
It sounds like, yeah, the first cards will hit in September, and we'll get to find out more. But I thought that this was fascinating in its... I can't tell how it's going to go phase.
Yeah, I'm certainly interested in seeing what that is, but I have no idea whether something like that can be good, because it removes like a big aspect of the game, I think, like from card games. There's no deck building.
Yeah.
So,
You know, deck building is fun part of it, right? Even if you are a person that, let's say you have to play a ladder and you go net deck 1 deck, that doesn't mean, though, and I'm having a great time in Magic not looking up anything really and just playing with what I have.
yeah.
I don't know. And plus, yeah, how are they going to keep up with the manufacturing costs? If this is popular, they're never going to be able to print new deck backs for every single thing that comes out the door.
I can only assume that he says it's different in the mathematical sense, where like they do the thing where these 36 cards in this order never happen again, but someone else got the same 36 cards is a different order, it doesn't count now. Or something, right? Like permutation versus combination or something. I don't know. I don't understand how it's feasible to print something the way they make that sound.
Yeah. You'd need a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And a lot of not very good cards at that, right?
Well, yeah, probably, right?
In terms of balancing a game, anyway. And if it is truly random, you will have decks that are better than other decks. I can't imagine how they would be able to... Because then you'd have to balance power levels. Meaning not every card would have its own same power level. Oof, we're going to have to see how this game's played to comment
Good
more.
luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. More card games? Slay the Spire?
Yeah, that's a good game.
Getting more stuff every week, man. Have you played it?
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
since they've added more stuff.
They add more stuff all the time, dude. I don't know when...
Oh, okay. I didn't know that they were adding stuff this fast. And then I looked into the game after a few weeks and I was like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah, they do balance like almost weekly. And then I think they put out new... I don't know how often like new stuff gets added, but they tweak stuff or add a relic or, add a thing or two, a different enemy or whatever. And that stuff can change that game pretty drastically.
No kidding. I know we're running short on time today because of our technical difficulties, so I want to get one last thought from you guys.
We can go on for a bit.
Go for it.
Robocop's coming back.
Really?
Really? Do you know who Neil Blomkamp is?
I recognize
Sounds
that name.
Vaguely familiar?
District 9.
Oh, yes. The director, right?
Yeah.
I like District 9 a lot.
Sure.
I think I didn't watch the other one. What was the other one?
What was the other one? It was...
Did he make Chappie?
Chappie. Yeah, and one other movie. One. The one with...
the one with the kids?
Kids?
Didn't he do one with kids?
I don't know about the one in the kids. He did one with Matt Damon, Elysium. The poor people live on Earth and the rich people live in space movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was him. I did not see that movie either.
If you had to rank District 9, Elysium, and Chappie.
Well, I've only seen one.
Oh, wow. Really?
So District 9 and the other one's below.
Okay.
But I mean, I think in terms of like critical reception, I don't remember
also probably in that order.
That order. Yeah, I don't think Elysium was well received, and I don't know that Chappie was either. And I think District 9 was. So I guess that's how you do that.
Sure.
There you go.
I like Chappie quite a bit. But not as much as District 9. And Elysium...
Okay, that lets me know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I will watch Chappie sometime, but not Elysium.
Neil Blomkamp will be coming back because he was not able to make his Alien movie because Ridley Scott decided he wasn't done with Alien after they were ready to have somebody else do it. He decided that they're going to let him work on Robocop with a movie called Robocop Returns.
Okay.
Unrelated to the new movies, it will be a sequel/reboot to the original.
Okay. I can get down with that.
Okay.
I mean, the original is a classic, right? Is that Verhoeven?
Yeah. Who did not do the sequels.
Right. I don't know that you're ever going to redo RoboCop in the justice it deserves, but I'm interested in a new take. Just like I didn't think anyone would ever redo Judge Dredd, and that one they redid was a heck of a movie.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't think it was possible to make a good one of those.
It's a real, I mean, lots of it is just straight up romp, but a lot of it is semi-good, and most of it is enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I like Neil Blomkamp, and I like RoboCop, and I like the fact that they realized that 2014 RoboCop was utter garbage. Sorry, Sam Jackson.
Yeah, you're right, though.
It was Sam Jackson, right?
Was it?
I think so.
I don't remember.
Who was in that movie? I think it was a lot of people that I liked, and I think it was Gary Oldman and Sam Jackson and Michael Keaton. I don't know why I know all that, because I didn't actually watch the movie because I knew it was going to be bad.
I think I remember Gary Oldman. I don't remember Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Anyway. So you're open to seeing more RoboCop?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
I was going to say, speaking of robot movie reboots, did you hear about the new Terminator movie?
Terminator 6?
Yep.
Is that what they're calling it? They might as well.
That's the working title, but yeah, they may as well.
What they did with the last one.
Yeah. New age, new dawn.
Genesis. But spelled weird.
Yeah.
Is there news about it other than that they're doing it?
They announced a bunch of the cast.
Gabriel Luna's going to be in it.
Yes, as the new Terminator, I think.
I think no one would believe Arnold anymore, so they finally...
Oh, it's time to retire him, yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be in it, though.
As what, like a retired
Stan
Terminator?
Lee style cameo.
I hope so.
I don't know. Do you
That
remember
would
when
be
they
the
added
best.
him to that other one with CGI?
Ugh.
Oh no.
Stop reminding me.
I also think I saw a picture of Sarah Connor in this.
Yes, she's in it as well. They're
Wait,
putting the
like-
band back together.
Like Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor?
Like Linda
Yeah.
Hamilton, Sarah Connor, yeah.
Oh my.
And boy, does she look Sarah Connery.
Well, I mean, she can't age more at some point.
What? Wait, what is that?
Yep.
I mean, she's going to look the same at some point, you know? You just get to a certain point where you just look old now.
Yeah. Well, the guy that I think it's being directed by the Deadpool director too. So this is going to
Okay.
be a crazy movie. I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll give it a shot.
Let's go for
We'll do a We Were Gamers movie night. How's that?
Oh,
That would be
Why
fun.
have we not thought of this before?
it has the potential to be the best one since T2.
It could be. We'll see. I mean,
Not exactly a high bar.
Well, yeah. Look,
I don't know. 3 wasn't that bad in retrospect.
oh, you mean it got worse? Is all you're saying?
No, I mean, like...
You're just
3,
looking up the hill as we slide down it.
3 isn't that bad when you compare the ones that came after it.
Is 3 the one where he
Exactly.
swings around the people in the coffin?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
You got to admit, though, they blew the world up at the end of that movie, and that was pretty ballsy.
That was a good
Yeah,
choice.
but the problem with that is that it retcons a lot of the first 2 movies is the problem.
Time travel, I don't know. There is
I
no
guess.
hope.
I guess. All
I
right.
mean, I'm in. Hopefully it's good. We'll see, I guess.
I think that should be our attitude with all these things. We're in. We hope it's good, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And if other people want to send positive attitudes,
They can send those to podcast@weweregamers.com. Also on our Facebooks, our Instagram, and our Twitter. All those are @weweregamers. Check us out on there. Subscribe to the show on fine podcast distribution platforms such as iOS and Android and wherever else you can find things. Give us those subscribes and those likes, man. We need them.
Give us a 6-star review and then write in about why you should be able to give us a 6-star review.
Yes.
and to close this out, I want you to know that if Fox and Disney close their deal, Avatar could be in the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
Nope.